Space, the final frontier, for the fourth time on movie screens. I'm Aaron Sagers, and in this blaster to the past, we're setting course to 1986 for Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home.
Mr. Sulu, take us home.
After facing Khan's wrath, searching for Spock, and dealing with a sentient space probe, the crew of the Starship Enterprise traveled back 300 years to the outrageous 1980s to retrieve a whale and save everyone in the 23rd century from another space probe. Director Leonard Nimoy and screenwriter Harvey Bennett initially developed a prequel script set at Starfleet Academy because William Shatner did not want to return as Kirk.
I've come to speak on behalf of the accused.
The exact iconic phrase, "Beam me up, Scotty," has never been said in the Star Trek franchise. But this is one of the closest we've come to hearing Kirk say it on screen.
Scotty, beam me up.
Even though this is a Star Trek movie, the Enterprise only appears in less than a minute and a half of the film's runtime. That's the shortest appearance of the starship in any Trek movie. This film marks the fourth and final time Kirk and Spock visited the 20th century.
Start your computations for time warp.
They previously did so in the episodes Tomorrow is Yesterday, The City on the Edge of Forever, and Assignment Earth. And this is the third time they have used this slingshot maneuver. And while time traveling, there are samples of dialogue that are actually spoken later in the film.
Should never have let.
I have no control, sir. The mains are down, sir. Box power is... My God, Jim, where are we?
But can we admit just how terrible the Enterprise crew is at time traveling?
Are you sure you want to part with them?
First up, a paradox is created when Kirk sells his antique glasses to the store.
Weren't those a birthday present from Dr. McCoy?
And they will be again, that's the beauty of it.
Where they sit until McCoy purchases them for Kirk's birthday in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. Now, if Kirk never sold them, Kirk could not have received them as a gift in the 23rd century to sell in the 20th century. This is an ontological paradox. Another paradox is created when Scotty gives away the formula for transparent aluminum to Plexicorp.
You realize, of course, if we give him the formula, we're altering the future.
Why? How do we know he didn't invent the thing?
After all, transparent aluminum actually became a thing. Sorta. The ceramic aluminum oxynitride is a composite of aluminum, nitrogen, and oxygen, and was developed in 2009. Instead of a cetacean biologist played by Catherine Hicks.
Good morning. I'm your guide this morning. My name is Dr. Jillian Taylor.
Kirk Spoil was going to be a UFO believer or psychic investigator, played by Star Trek fan Eddie Murphy.
No, don't be ridiculous.
But the deal fell apart, and Murphy moved on to the Golden Child.
Nepal! N-E-P-A-L! Viva Nepal!
Voyage Home is unique in the amount of location shooting it does. The nuclear vessels scene probably wasn't shot in secret as legend holds.
Excuse me, sir. Can you direct me to the naval base in Alameda? It's where they keep the nuclear vessels.
But that is a real San Francisco cop who was working off screen, until Walter Koenig essentially pulled a Daffy Duck and walked off the strip. You can also see the crew in the cop's sunglasses.
Ooh, I don't know if I know the answer to that. I think it's across the bay, in Alameda.
The Vessels woman is an extra whose car was towed from set. To make money to get her car back, she got the extra gig and improvised a line, which made it on film and snagged her a Screen Actors Guild credit. Hands down, one of the best scenes in the film involves the interaction between Spock and Kirk with the punk on the bus. That punk is played by associate producer Kirk Thatcher, a Trek fan who had worked in the creature department on Return of the Jedi, E.T., and Gremlins.
The sins of all our fathers picked up on us the sun. The only choice we're given is how many megatons. And I
you mind stopping that damn noise?
And I say screw you. And I hope you're blue too. We're all bloody wetland.
Computer? Computer? Hello, computer.
Just use the keyboard.
The Apple Macintosh computer, suggested by, you guessed it, Kirk Thatcher, was almost a Commodore Amiga. But that company didn't want to lend one to the film and did not want to be associated with the franchise.
What do you think?
He's a Rusky.
That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. Of course he's a Rusky, but he's a retard or something.
Sure, the Russians were the go-to bad guys in the 1980s, but this was actually the first Star Trek movie to play in the former Soviet Union and was screened in June 1987 by the World Wildlife Federation to celebrate the country's whaling ban. So let's talk whales. The whales, George and Gracie, were 4-foot-long animatronic models, but they looked so lifelike that activists criticized the movie for getting too close to the animals in their habitat. So how did they get the alien probe to make whale noises without using the real thing? No, they didn't hire Dory from Finding Nemo.
Dory.
The probe's operating noise is actually a recording of Nimoy saying "wub wub wub wub" for 2 minutes, which was then mixed with whale songs and electronic feedback. As the probe turns away at the end, the sound it makes can be interpreted in whale and in English as saying, "I'm sorry," in lower frequencies. This was actor James Doohan's favorite line as Scotty.
Admiral, there be whales here.
Take that, Finnish whalers. Although it would be great to see the whalers torpedoed, this is the only Star Trek film where no one dies and there are no fights.
How does a nice girl like you get to be a cetacean biologist?
So you know how Kirk has a reputation for being a bit of a Lothario? Well, we had not seen that in the film series until now.
If you have such a low opinion of my abilities, how come we're here having dinner?
Although he's not trying to bet aliens, he does get his groove back. Or at least a free meal, since he has no money. By the way, this yes-no scene, totally improvised by William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy.
You guys like Italian?
No.
Yes.
Yeah,
No.
no.
Yes.
No.
Yes. I love Italian. And so do you.
Yes.
Hello to Madge Sinclair, who played the first female Starfleet captain at the helm of the USS Saratoga.
This is USS Saratoga patrolling Sector 5, neutral zone.
She went on to play Geordi LaForge's mom, Captain Silva LaForge of the USS Hera in Star Trek: The Next Generation. Notable cameos include Indian tennis star Vijay Amritraj, horror character actor Michael Berryman, and Go-Go's guitarist Jane Wiedlin. And we met Brock Peters as Admiral Cartwright before he broke bad. So that brings us to the end of yet another blaster to the past. But don't forget to say,
all right, Mr. Sulu. Let's see what she's got.
And beam into blaster.com for more videos and dispatches from the world of fandom. When you listen to this script, even with the involvement